I was drowning in over $30,000 of credit card debt 12 years ago. There were a few key things that enabled me to clear it all in 2 short years, not the least of which was implementing a set of strict yet easy to follow spending rules. Beginning with rule number 1. Will buying this earn more money than it costs within a year? This sounds so obvious. I mean, if it's going to be a net positive return on investment, then clearly make the purchase, right? But the most common and biggest pitfall in this is that it's so easy for us to justify internally that something is a worthy investment, even if there isn't a direct, clearly defined path to earning more money with it. As an example, I've wanted this lens for a long time, and it would be so easy to falsely justify it in the name of, hey, I can use it to make YouTube videos. But with my channel's average earnings of just $4 for every 1,000 views, and my historical average view count per video of 25,000 views, means each video has earned me just about $100 from ads. This lens is $3,300, so the real question I need to ask is, will the shots I get from this new lens increase my average view count, and will the delta of that new average view count return an extra $3,300 within a year? And the answer there is a confident, obvious no. So, no lens for me. But what about things that are definitely not going to help me earn more money? That's where rule 2 comes in, assessing the frequency of use. The question I ask myself for these types of things is, will I use it at least once a week? It's just that simple, since things that you and me use frequently generally improve quality of life. By the way, this philosophy on frequency of use is why I think the absolute most important thing to spend tons of time testing and being unafraid to spend big money on is a mattress. We spend between 1/4 and 1/3 of our entire lives on a mattress. It's arguably the single most important thing we own, since all things related to our physical, mental health, and productivity flow downstream from a good night's sleep. But to really illustrate rule 2, I'll show you one thing that made the cut that isn't a mattress. This right here is a Dremel Versa. My washroom is pretty dated, seeing as how this building I'm living in is over 25 years old, and with cheaper building materials like this textured melamine countertop, stains, surprisingly, appear quickly and aren't the easiest to get rid of with a simple sponge wipe. Since I have a set weekly bathroom cleaning day, I use this thing exactly once a week. But of course, there are still things we need that don't get used at least once a week. You know, things like, say, this tape measure. So how do I deal with these other 10% of cases? That is where rule 3 comes into play, calculating the projected cost per use. Since I already showed it, let's go with the tape measure. At home, this tape measure gets used less than once a month, probably 8 times a year. But for non-industrial at-home use, this will easily last me at least 20 years. 8 by 20 is a very realistic lifespan, and with the price tag of about $25, divided by the assumptive minimum 160 uses works out to 15 cents per use. The only remaining question to ask myself before choosing whether or not to buy it is, would I be willing to pay 15 cents to rent it every time I need it? Of course I would. So I bought it. But what about things I just straight up want, despite them not being useful nor necessary? Things like a cool piece of clothing, or a random trinket, or yet another EDC thing, since I just love all things everyday carry. Well, this is where rule 4, inarguably the most impactful rule as I was getting out of debt, comes into play. Because I have the absolute worst impulsive desires to buy. You don't get it. I was watching YouTube last night and saw a thumbnail. Didn't even watch the video, just saw a thumbnail for a compilation of exciting poker hands and instantly went on Amazon to look at poker chip sets. My impulse to want to buy things is that bad. Rule 4, the 2-week photo rule. Anytime I get tempted by anything that doesn't get tackled by the first 3 rules, I take a picture of it. Literally, if I'm on a website, I'll take out my phone and snap a picture of my computer screen. The rule is simple. I have to wait 2 weeks from when the photo was taken. If I still want it after 2 weeks, then as long as I can afford it, I generally allow myself to buy it. But, and this is a huge but, literally, and by literally I mean with no exaggeration, 99% of the time I don't even remember it existing, and certainly don't remember wanting it. Every couple of months, I scroll through the camera roll on my phone and get continuously and genuinely confused as to why there are photos of random things. Slingshot, limited edition Scrabble featuring different fonts for all the letters, Dwight Schrute bobblehead, and the list goes on and on and on. Yet despite these 4 powerful and effective rules, most of us have that one category of item that is such a strong exception to us individually. And for me, it's wristwatches. I love mechanical watches, but not only are they technically useless in this day and age from a time-telling perspective, they're also pretty damn expensive. But the engineering, design, and horological history behind them is something I fully gravitate towards, and I use timepieces to mark special moments in time. So rule 5 is about ensuring that I am only allowed to buy a mechanical watch when I hit a meaningful milestone. Maybe for you, it's sneakers. Maybe it's collectible cards. But the point of Rule 5, if you happen to have that deep love of something that isn't reflected in Rules 1, 2, 3, or 4, is to peg purchasing them to achievements you define for yourself. This really helps the continuous loop of setting and working towards goals top of mind, which even though I don't hit all of my goals, the mere pursuit of them is a great motivator, boredom killer, and most importantly, the cure to feeling stuck in life. These rules are so impactful because they eliminate decisions. You see, you and me, we already suffer from constant decision fatigue. I mean, we have to make enough tough, high-stakes decisions in our day-to-day lives at work and in navigating our relationships. With these rules, I don't have to hum and haw about whether or not to buy something. It's like grade 5 math, PEMDAS, an automatic order of operations that I run through my head to see if it's a go or no-go. These 5 rules quite literally saved my personal finances. And although these rules were indeed pivotal, they alone wouldn't have gotten me out of that deep hole without a complete debt-clearing plan. And I wrote a 100% free, no strings attached, step-by-step workbook if you or someone you know might be interested, and you can find that linked down in the description below. Beyond getting out of debt, if consistently earning more money is the next necessary step in your life's path, you will definitely want to watch this video right up here. But if you've had enough money talk for now, this video down here is the one for you. I'll leave them both on screen so you can choose which one to watch. But while you're deciding, if you got value from this video, consider liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell so you'll be notified the moment new videos just like this one drop.